here's another one's can of worms. I had to take, this thing here just screws up in there. You just unthread it and take it out. Well, I take that out to set your front end. I can set your hood to the window post, and then I can move your front end up underneath it, and then lock down the front end, and then set all this and put this back in place. And usually that just unscrews. Well, the nut, the jam nut that's welded back there was loose. So, yeah, I had to end up screwing it down far enough to be able to get a saw in there, because you can't saw in these parts. I didn't want to damage these parts. So me and Jeff finally got it where we could screw it down far enough to get a saw in behind it and saw that off. So, yeah, you just never know when you're going to get it. But, yeah, I can either fix that or get another one. Alright, but back to my hood. See, I got your hood on now, and once I got your hood into place, that's telling me where the front fenders are and how this front end needs to move around. Now, I've actually loosened all your fender bolts, and I've moved it over a little bit. I ended up taking this cap loose, and I've moved it over a little bit because it was a little too far. Now, it's not going to fit exact. It could, but it would take a lot of work. But I'm just going to use what I got here and split all the differences and get it set in place. I've had to move it forward just a little bit. And then once I got the hood in place where I want it, then I went in there and tightened all those bolts down through there, tightened all these bolts down there, and somewhat locked it in place. Then, once I got that in place, I put your hydraulic lift in, which works like a champ. But I've got some issues with this across here where the hood was broke, so let me show you a little about that. Now, Keifer, you can see right here, I'll show you what I've got to do. The end of your hood right here is broken, and this was just full of filler. I've knocked a 1/4 inch of filler off right through here, and got all that out of place. It showed me the real line of this hood, and I've been closing the hood and bending that back up, and then I've got in here clamped in place here my 1/4, I don't know if you can see my piece clamped in here, and then I'm fixing to work it in a little bit tighter by doing a little bit more metal work on it, and I'm going to start welding it, put a little stress in that hood the other way so it'll be good and strong, and then I'll seam seal all that up, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. But you can see kind of what's involved. I'll be able to tie it into this piece right here, I'll be able to tie it in here, tack weld it down through there, and then hopefully it'll hold the side of that hood, and I'll add 1 or 2 more in the middle, and then 1 over there. Now, your hood was broke from side to side, and now that we've got the lift under it, we have to pull down on it to shut it. It's just tearing this up, and so now I've had to pull it back up. When doing so, somebody has had this issue when, well, I guess when it broke before, and they filled this with about I don't know how much filler it is. It's about that much filler right there. I've ground that back, and now I'm having to sit here and hammer this back down and then lock this in place. If not, it's just a waste of time for me to do all this if I don't find the exact place to put it back in and then weld it in place. Hopefully the other side won't be that bad, but boy, it's hard to get this back in place. It is almost there. That's about going to do it. So now I'm going to take this thing and get it back up. Turn it back up and show you what I got. I got my piece in here. Turn that up a little bit. Alright, I probably can't see the camera, but I got my piece put in there now. And I've tack welded it in with a little tension on it. And now I'm fixing to tie it in where it's broke. So down here at the bottom, I'll put a little more tension on it, and then plug weld that, and then work all that in, and do the other side. So it's working pretty good. Alright, Keifer, well, I got all that part of it done. I had to weld on the end of this where this was broke, and I've got that piece welded in, and I've got this piece welded in and ground flat. Now I'm going to come back here and sand around that and pre-clean real good. Then I'm going to re-glue all these bows with a 2-part seam sealer, and then I'm going to put some bonded adhesive back on these two and try to seal that up and pickle that. And now look at it. I mean, it's really nice now. Now, as soon as I get all this glued, it's going to take a lot of that side flex out of it, because that panel wants to move around like this. So I get that glued, we're done with that job. Hallelujah.